you super new to property investing and you're hoping to use this as a way to increase your wealth, like I wanted to? Well, before you dive in head first, watch this video to discover 5 of the costly mistakes I almost made before that you should really avoid. Mistake number 1 is not doing enough research. I always say this in my videos. Make sure you research the property before you buy it. Make sure you know your numbers, make sure you know your return on investment, what that's going to be, and also before you even start looking at properties, make sure you understand and you know what approach you want to do, what strategies you want to do. You can do this by actually finding out, by actually doing a 5-year plan, doing a bit of SWOT analysis. Make sure you know exactly what you're doing, what types of properties are going to bring in the right profit for you, what types of properties you want to go for, so that the right type of properties that match up to what your property goals are. As I said, I've done videos on this before. Make sure you work out your exact property criteria so you know what you're buying, where you're buying it, and price you're going to be buying it for, and also what rental income you're going to be hoping to achieve. So yeah, research is paramount. I almost fell into this trap because I almost was this close to buying a property all the way up north in an area that I didn't know. I thought I'd done enough research, but obviously I hadn't have done, and I'm so glad I didn't, because now when I look back on that property, I wouldn't have got the rental income that I needed. It was really far away from where I live, so for me and my lifestyle, it would have been hard for me to maintain this property, and I almost brought it off the back of watching what some of other gurus have done. So yeah, literally, when I say do your research, I mean make sure you do your research so that you buy things that are really well suited for you and your lifestyle and how you're going to, because you're going to have to maintain these properties. If you buy a property that's 200 miles away from your house, you need to make sure that you've got a plan in place so that you can maintain that property without you being there. So it's not always a bad thing being a remote investor. It can be a really, really good thing because you can get some deals if you live further south, and obviously you're priced out the market. Maybe you do want to look into buying properties further up north where the prices might be slightly cheaper. But if you do that, make sure that you've got a robust system in place and processes in place so that you can maintain the property. You know, you've got a really, really good tradesman in your pocket that you can use you can call on if there's an emergency that can go in and help the tenant. So make sure you really do your research, and as I say, I've got a wide range of videos on this channel that you can watch, can help you in that. And that leads me on to my next point, and that is overpaying for a property. So if you have done your research right, then hopefully you're not overpaying on a property. For example, remote investing in an area that you might not necessarily know firsthand, you don't have that local knowledge. You might not know if you're overpaying or not on a property, and you might not get back what you wanted to get from it. For example, you might not be able to pull out as much money to go again for another property if you overpay. You've just took all your profit away from you right then and there. So make sure, as I said, you do your research and you don't overpay for a property. You've got a buy-in system process in place so you know exactly, right, if I put X amount into this, I need to pull X amount back out at the end so that I can then go again. Because the last thing you want is to overpay for a property. When it comes to getting that valuation and that remortgage and you're pulling your money back out, you can't get as much money as you thought you could get back out, i.e. at least your initial deposit investment back, because then it's just going to stop you in your tracks. You're not going to be able to then pull that money back out and then go again on another property and recycle that deposit. So just make sure you've run your numbers, you know exactly what you're paying for a property and how much you're going to get back out, so that you can then keep going on your property journey. And another mistake, and I am certainly guilty of this one, is ignoring maintenance costs. Part of your property plan, if that is to hold on to some properties, if you're not flipping, for example, and you're keeping properties and you're wanting to build a really good property portfolio, you need to make sure that you're not ignoring your maintenance costs. And as I said, I've done this in the past. The first property that I bought all those years back when, I ignored maintenance costs. For example, I did not maintain the roof, and because of that, just paid a hefty bill to repair the roof on this property. Now I'd left it. I ignored the maintenance costs, and to be quite honest with you, I didn't give this property the tender loving care that it needed. At the end of the day, you need to look after your assets. They're there to pay you back and they're there to look after you. It's almost like investing in your health. If you don't work out and you don't look after your body, then you're going to see your body deteriorate. So it's the same thing with property investing, you want to make sure that you look after your assets. These are like the main body. This is your car, for example. You need to make sure that you MOT it and service it every so often, and make sure you maintain things and you keep on top of things before they get so big, like what I did with my roof, that you're going to have to end up repairing the whole thing, and it'll cost you more in the long run. And as I said, I mean, sometimes things may crop up that are unexpected costs that need to be done, but as I said, if you are continually maintaining and looking after these properties, then they're going to continue to look after you. You're going to continue to see a return from them. So yeah, really look after your properties if you're going to keep them in a portfolio, and make sure you do not ignore any niggling little things. I did with the roof. It was, the tenant told me it was a small leak, and then all of a sudden now it's turned into a bigger problem that I'm going to have to repair, and I'm repairing them now with today's cost of materials, rather than the cost of materials would have cost me almost twice, 3 times as much now to repair that whole roof. But yeah, and it's a big kerfuffle as well, because obviously the tenant has had to be moved out because of the roof sort of the ceiling came down and all sorts. Make sure you're maintaining your properties and you're keeping them up to scratch. I do that now with all of my properties. None of them are neglected, they're always looked after. And as I said, the other one that I mentioned, it was a long-term tenant and they didn't tell me until the last minute, so hence me getting hit with this massive bill. And that really does lead me nicely on to my next point, and that is not having a solid property investment plan. As I've said, you need a clear strategy and you need to stick to your guns and stick to that strategy in order to get you from A to B. So make sure you determine your goals, what you're wanting to get out of it, basically your success criteria, and where you want to end up with your property journey, and make sure you stick to those goals as well. So whether it's flipping properties or whether it's keeping them and obviously building up a really robust rental portfolio, whichever strategy you stick with and how to get there, you need to just stick to that and make sure that all the plans you put in place will lead you to where your ultimate end goal and where you want to be. And my last mistake, and again, guilty of doing this in the past, it's not following professional advice. Now with that I mean good professional advice. Once you find yourself a really good mortgage broker, my mortgage broker's details are in the description box, by the way, stick to them, look after them, and make sure you go to them time and time again and ask them for advice. It might not necessarily be professional advice. You might want to seek advice from someone who's going through the same thing as you. So maybe your friend's just gone through a remortgage, ask them for advice as well if you're not sure or you're not clear. It helps you build relationships too. So as soon as you find yourself a good builder, obviously keep a really good relationship with them as well, because their advice is so valuable to you. If you're looking at a new property to invest in and you've got that good working relationship with your builder like I have, you can always sort of WhatsApp them a picture of the property that you've just viewed, for example, that you're thinking of buying, and then they can give you advice then or there. In some cases they might be able to come along with you. So from having a really good mortgage advisor, a really good financial advisor, having good relationships with local estate agents and good builders and tradespeople, it is really, really important to seek and follow professional advice. So yeah, and a bonus tip really is to just learn from your mistakes. Learn from my mistakes. I've made plenty of them and I've documented them all here on YouTube as well for you to see. So check out some of my other videos. You can see even from the process of getting me my investment property and doing them up, and you can see some of the things that I've done and avoid them. Watch this video next to see the progress on my latest property investment that I've made. And thanks for watching this video. Please like, comment and subscribe if you found value from it. It really, really helps the channel out and helps to push it to more people so that I can help more people get on their property journey as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks guys, bye.